Hey everybody, today is Thursday, February 29th. My spring break starts on Monday, and so I wanted to film this next week, but I wanted to film something super specific. So I'll talk about this a little bit more in depth just throughout the video, but recently I have been just like not enjoying art, and I haven't been making things that I like, and I've just been feeling like kind of what is the point of art and why do I even make art and things. And so I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. I think I'm really burnt out from school because I've been basically making a drawing every other week of myself, mostly because it's figure drawing. And then my painting class has been kind of weird. My professor hasn't been here because he's struggling with cancer, and so he's been away a lot, and so I feel like I haven't really had much guidance, and I've ended up just like disliking every single painting I've been making. And you know when you paint something and you just like want to puke? That's how I've been feeling. So I wanted to take this next week to work in my sketchbook. I have a goal of like making a piece or two to hang up in the studio that I've been kind of putting together. So I really want to work on the studio and get that to a place where I feel like I'm inspired when I walk into it and not like, oh, this is ugly. So those are my goals. I thought I could bring you along and maybe see if something comes of it, see if I start feeling better, more inspired. So the sketchbooks I'll be using, I'll show you. The first one is this little gesture. It's just a field notes notebook, but I just draw little gestures in it. I like this one, very messy. They usually all take me around 3 to 4 minutes. I drew these trees the other day and I really like them. So maybe I'll sit outside and paint some trees. I went to a Andrew Wyeth show and that really inspired me to paint some trees. So I also like this spread. So yeah, honestly, maybe finish this little one. That would be cool. The next sketchbook that I will be working in is this one, and honestly, I only work on this in the spring, and I basically haven't worked in it since 2022. This was the first one I made in 2021. I started one the other day. I hate it because it looks like what I used to do and not what I do now, but I want to finish it. I don't direct paint these, I indirect paint them, which means I paint them in multiple layers and things. So I kind of just want to work on my landscape coloration. Like, I don't know, I don't want to lean so much on the bright colors, but more on the moody colors. So I want to figure out how to take like a bright landscape and make it moody, I guess. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll finish that one, maybe I won't. I don't know if I'll work in this one. The next sketchbook I've been using a lot of is my Odd Orange sketchbook. I love this one. This one I kind of consider to be my pretty sketchbook. Let me find some pages. I painted this one last spring break, so I love that one. I also painted this one last spring break because these trees were blooming at the time. I think, yeah. As you can see, it's just all very pretty. Nothing too crazy in here. I did start getting a little like experimental like this. Just different mediums. So I really like this sketchbook. I feel like I've not messed it up. You can't mess up a sketchbook. But to me, because this was my pretty sketchbook, I finished my like experimental sketchbook, and so I was experimenting more in this one, and I wish I hadn't because now it just kind of messes up the vibe. So maybe I can get the vibe back in this one. Honestly, I would like to probably do like 10 pages in this over this break. And then lastly, the sketchbook I will be working in is this painting. It's a painting sketchbook. It's not a drawing sketchbook. Or I guess it's like a mixed media sketchbook. It's Strathmore. But I have had this since, let's see. I've had this since April of 2022, so almost 2 years. So I think it would be really cool if I challenged myself to finish this one. I'll show you. This was the first page I made in it. So my style has changed a good bit since then, but I still love like the early work I did in this. It's kind of devolved, like seriously devolved. Let's see. The last thing I did was, I didn't even finish the last thing. This is one thing, like, see, it's become so unfinished, and I just don't, like, I don't even know what that is. So, my goal, honestly, let's see how many pages there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe I can finish this? Probably not, but maybe. I think that would bring me a lot of fulfillment. So yeah, that's what's going on this week. I'll film probably every day, maybe not all the sketching I do, but hopefully most of it, and make a really long sketching video. So yeah, I hope you have fun following along, watching me try and get some sort of art spark back. So I thought I would update you all on what's kind of going on. Today is Wednesday. I'm 3 days into my spring break, and I have unsuccessfully painted except for today. So I haven't gotten near as much done as I wanted to, but that's okay. So you saw all the clips of me painting. I made my first little painting of my break, which is this little seashell, and I'm actually obsessed with it. I think it is so cute. You also saw me spill my coffee. That was really unfortunate because I feel like that's kind of slowed down my roll, because now I want to move off this tablecloth that I have and put a new one down. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna kind of clean up, and then I'm gonna try and finish the sketchbook spread, and then maybe do one more page because I want to finish this sketchbook spread that I started the other day. I really want to paint a large piece, but I need to get a piece of wood to stretch my paper, and I don't want to go out today, so I might hold off on the large piece and maybe do a smaller piece that I can hang up in the room. I don't know, we'll see, but I'll update you once I get everything kind of picked up. So it's a little bit later in the afternoon. I got all of the coffee mess cleaned up and I ate lunch, and I finished the first sketchbook spread this week. It's these adorable shells. I'm trying to see if you can see that. It's that. I'm obsessed with it. I'm so happy that I finally got something down on paper that I'm pleased with. So I'll probably draw more tomorrow, and I will film whatever I draw. Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, March the 8th. I am sitting down in my studio to just get some stuff done. I wanted to stretch some watercolor paper today so that I could paint it maybe tomorrow. And I also want to do a few things in my sketchbook because I'm kind of at like a standstill where I can't use paper, but I don't really want to use a canvas because I don't have any of my nicer acrylics in my home studio. So that's the plan for the next hour and a half. But before I did that, I wanted to tell you all about the books I'm reading right now because I haven't updated you all on any of my reading for the year. So I have a fun little stack going. The first one I'm reading is From Dawn to Decadence by, I don't even know how to say his name. And this basically is going from 1500s to the present, and it's a pretty heavy history book. Right now I am in Madrid in the 1540s, so I've actually been reading this one for about a year. I probably read 5 or 10 pages once a month, if I'm being honest, but I just it's split up in historical chapters, so I read some of the chapters, I read the chapters at a time, and then I kind of forget about it once I finish the chapter, and then 2 months go by and I remember it exists. So that happened the other day, and I am now reading about Madrid. I had just gotten through the Renaissance this summer, so that's this book. The next book is I'm reading Howard's End by E.M. Forster. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. I'm reading this one with the Literary Life podcast. I mentioned that at the beginning of the year in one of my book videos. I'm like 50 pages into this one, and this one is I think it's a Victorian novel, but he has a very different pace for Victorian novels than a lot of other Victorian writers, and it's very funny. And then the next one I'm reading is World Without End by Ken Follett. If you watched my favorite books of 2023 and my reading plans for 2024, I talked about how I wanted to read The Pillars of the Earth, and this is the sequel to that, and I loved The Pillars of the Earth. I need to do like a reading so far recap of my year. But I loved Pillars of the Earth. Absolute 5 out of 5. And so I was like, you know what? While I'm in the mood for an 1,000-page book, I just need to go ahead and start the next one. So that's what I did. Kind of regretting my decision because I'm literally reading so many other books and it's very overwhelming. But, you know, when you're just feeling something, you kind of just have to ride the wave of what you're feeling. So I wanted to get to this one while I was still in the mood for a long middle-aged novel. And the last one I'm reading is a selection of poems by Petrarch. I think that's how you say his name. And it's selections from the Canzoniere. I don't know exactly how to say it. But this is basically poems from Petrarch, which was, he was a poet in Italy in like the 1300s, I think, and he wrote about Laurel, his wife who died, and how he was constantly trying to like escape from her loving grasp. That was a horrible summary. Anyways, that one's good too. That one's more of like a every couple days I'll pick it up and read a poem. It's really short. So yeah, that's all my reading recaps. Let's go stretch some watercolor paper now. So in this part of the video, you see me working on a large seashell painting on the watercolor paper that I stretched in the clip before these. I have had this idea of painting large seashells and driftwood for a very long time, I think since this summer. If you look on my Instagram, I made a reel about just practicing seashells because I really wanted to make a large piece. So I'm happy that I finally am getting around to it. I am using pebbles that I found in New York, seashells that I found in New York, and then I'm also being aided by a seashell reference book that I own that I go to quite frequently because apparently I paint seashells more than I think I do. But the reason I'm able to do this large piece is that I finally finished my studio space, which is incredibly exciting to me because it's just allowing me to be much more open with my art. And in the clip after these, I am finishing up a little bluebird painting that I started a couple of days ago in my break, and I'm finally getting around to finishing it. And I'm going to stick that into my sketchbook when I'm done with it. So I just tried to video this, and my sister was in the room, and she made a lot of fun of me. So I'm going to restart. All I was saying was it's the last day of my spring break, and it's also the end of this video because that was the point. This week was good. I didn't make as much art as I had wanted to. I did a lot of other things and not a lot of art making, but everything I made you saw. So I made, I'll show you a quick recap. I did this, which I love. I did this, which you didn't see actually. Then I also did this bird. But also in bigger news, I got the studio finished. So I'll do a studio tour soon. I also started that large shell piece. So subscribe so you can see the studio tour and me finishing the shell piece. But that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Give it a like if you did, and I'll see you whenever I see you.